Ryan Coogler negotiated a boss move of a deal that should scare the hell out of Hollywood, and you probably missed it. In 25 years, he will have total ownership over his hit film, Sinners. Not the studios, not the executives in their suits, and certainly not the estate of Michael Jackson. Major directors often do negotiate things like residuals, final cut privileges, but this trumps all of that, and it's extremely rare. It just doesn't happen. Other legacy filmmakers like Mel Gibson and George Lucas have negotiated similar deals in the past, but not quite like this. George Lucas, he had the merchandising rights to Star Wars, as well as the rights to produce future sequels in exchange for a lower rate for directing the first Star Wars movie, because the studios pretty much didn't believe in it. They didn't think it would be successful, so they thought they were getting a deal. And Mel Gibson, similar thing. He owns the passion because he financed it himself. The studios were too chicken shit to touch it, and I'm sure they regret that. But Coogler, he did this within the studio system, and that is wild. In 2050, he will have complete control over licensing and distribution. That means theatrical re-releases, merchandise licensing, museum exhibits, streaming rights or whatever replaces streaming in 20 years, reboots, spin-offs, sequels, all of that has to go through him. He has the final say, and he sets the price. And if that price is free, then so be it, it's up to him. And by the way, if you need clarity on any of this, please refer to my full copyright video. I cover all of it in full detail. But the point is, this is huge because films can generate revenue for decades. It's also a transferable asset, which means that he can hand it off to his family, his estate to control long after his death, and it gives him a massive leverage in negotiation because it sets a very high precedent for the value of the wildly successful films that he tends to make. Now, of course, a lot of this financial payoff is going to be contingent on whether Sinners can stay culturally relevant for decades, like franchises such as Star Wars or The Godfather. But if its initial release is any indication, I wouldn't bet against it, even if it never quite reaches those exact heights. But you could argue that the symbolic victory is what's really important here because it establishes a new precedent that directly challenges the Hollywood status quo, where the studio owns everything forever by default. And it could possibly trickle down to other artists to negotiate similar terms for themselves, and ideally, maybe, just maybe, in a perfect world, encourage all of you dumbasses out there to seriously consider the protection of your own intellectual property and take proper measures to actually defend it and not just give it away so easily because you're so desperate to get hired. If you're a creative person, this should be inspiring for you. You should be so excited about this. These are the hills that are worth dying on. And where the real poetic justice comes in is the fact that Sinners is a movie about cultural appropriation, ownership, and legacy wrapped in musical and vampire massacre set pieces. The film's villain is a white vampire named Remick, who literally tries to consume the musical essence of the film's hero, Sammy. And Sammy's musical talent is a gift from God that can transcend time and break the barriers between the worlds of the living and the dead. And Remick wants that talent for himself so that he can reconnect with his own long-displaced Irish ancestors. Talk about a generational trauma feedback loop, am I right? In exchange, Remick's victims live in a kind of fabricated utopia where, yeah, they have a little bit of power because they're technically undead and they can't be hurt and they have superpowers, but they have no real freedom. And if Remick succeeds, Sammy would just be an empty shell of a human corpse, waiting to be exploited at Remick's call. It's a direct allegory and a call out to history, full of conquerors who steal culture while leaving their creators in ruins and chains. So the real poetic justice here is that a film that fights to keep black art in black hands will belong to the black filmmaker who made it.